Do you know what the real reason is why you do not believe in yourself? And it's got nothing to do with laziness, weakness, or being broken. The real reason you doubt yourself, you don't believe in yourself, it's because you've been conditioned to forget who you truly are. You weren't born with self doubt. You weren't born thinking you were too much or not enough. You learned that. You absorbed that. And that false identity, those lies, they've been quietly shaping your choices, your confidence, your entire life. But here's the real truth of it. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're not lazy. You've just been living life through the lens of survival. And today, I want to help you reconnect with your true power, the part of you that always known exactly who you are. My name's LJ, and I've lived through it all: addiction, mental illness, trauma, failure, the complete identity collapse. I've had every reason not to believe in myself. But I learned how to reclaim that belief, and now I help others do the same. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how. Okay, let me take you back to many years ago. Right, I grew up carrying this deep sense of not being good enough. Okay, my parents separated when I was 4 years old, and from that moment on, I internalized a belief that something must be wrong with me. I didn't look at the relevance of the moment that they just weren't getting on and they went to separate it. I seen it as something's wrong with me. It's my fault. I'm not good enough for my dad to kick around. Okay. But I didn't realize that at the time that that event had planted this seed of unworthiness. And as I grew older, that seed took root, right? I always felt like the black sheep, like I just didn't fit in, like I was always too much or sometimes not enough. And then came the years through school where I was a class clown, acting out, trying to get some type of attention. And then as I grew into my teenage years, this is when crime came into the scene, addiction, then time in prison. I was constantly trying to prove something, to get respect, to get love, to get validation, to get relief. But no matter what I achieved or destroyed, I never felt good enough. I chased success, right? I built the body, I made the money, but inside I felt empty, right? And one of the lowest points in my life was when I was 28 and I was partially paralyzed. I was lying there in bed, broken in body and broken in spirit. And I remember thinking, I've fucked it. I've ruined it. I've failed as a man. I'm never going to get my life back. In that moment, those thoughts, those were the loudest voice of my unconscious identity. And I wish I could tell you that in that moment I had an epiphany and I turned it around, but it wasn't. It took me another 10 years of failing, falling, searching to even begin to climb out. I still had a ton of lessons to learn. I still had illusions to burn through. But looking back, that moment in the hospital, lying there stripped of everything that I thought made me a man, that was the beginning of my initiation. I couldn't walk. I couldn't sit up on my own. I couldn't use my cock or balls. I was back in, adult nappies or diapers, whatever you call them, right? I didn't just lose my physical strength. I lost my identity. And the scariest part wasn't the pain or the paralysis. It was the voice in my head whispering, this is it. You'll never come back from this. You'll never be a father. You'll never be whole again. That voice wasn't just fear, it was the voice of self doubt. The one that had been with me since I was a child, since I was 4 years old. And in that moment, I believed it. Because see, when life breaks you down to nothing, your true beliefs rise to that surface. And mine was that I wasn't good enough. I didn't have what it takes. That I wasn't built for greatness. And that's where the real battle began. Not in my body, but in my beliefs. See, because self-doubt, it's not your nature, right? It's your conditioning. And from a young age, we're absorbing these beliefs from the world around us, teachers, parents, friends, wherever we are. You're not smart enough. You're too sensitive. You're not cut for greatness. You're too loud. You're too quiet. Whatever it is. And your brain, especially between up to the age of 7, it's like a sponge. It absorbs everything. It absorbs these messages without a filter. So your unconscious stores them. And over time, They become your identity. So even when you logically want to believe in yourself, there's this internal wall, and that wall is made of years and years of programming. Okay, and here's the key. Your subconscious creates your reality based on the messages it receives the most. So you might say that you want success, but if your subconscious is receiving more energy from the message of I'm not good enough, then that's what it's going to create. You manifest what you believe at your deepest level, not what you say you want. Okay? And when you look at this from a kind of more of a spiritual truth, right? You know, spiritually, this work is all about remembering, right? When we're on this path to become awakened and or whatever it is, right? Enlightened, if you want to call it that. But it's about remembering that you are not your thoughts, you are not your past, and you are not your trauma. You are a divine, creative being. You are consciousness. You are energy. You are genius. The part of you that doubts yourself isn't the real you. It's the false self, the survival self. The real you, the superconscious you, is your genius, your higher awareness, your eternal soul. That's a part of you that we awaken in this journey of becoming the awakened savage. Because when you align with your superconscious, something powerful happens. You stop trying to fix yourself and you start creating from truth. You stop chasing worth and you start expressing who you truly are at your core, at your heart. And you can bring this back to science, right? And how your beliefs shape your reality. Neuroscience shows us that your brain is wired by repetition. Every thought you think strengthens a neural pathway. The more you think, I can't do it, the stronger that belief comes. This is called Hebbian learning, right? Neurons that fire together wire together. But this is good news, believe it or not, because your brain has neuroplasticity, okay? Which means it can change. This means that you can rewire it. You can recode it, reprogram it. You can rewire your identity. You can build new beliefs. You can recondition your subconscious mind. Also, the subconscious responds to emotion. So when a belief is charged with fear, shame, or pain, it sticks. This is why childhood beliefs are so powerful. They were formed in highly emotional moments. Today, we can override those beliefs with new thoughts, new actions, and consistent focus. So, in order to do this, this is going to take consistency. Okay, so I'm going to give you a practical daily rewire blueprint. Right now, this might not seem profound and magical, but I promise you, you do this over time and you will rewire your thinking, your brain, your way of being. So every single morning, start your day with 5 minutes of stillness. Okay? Just be there in stillness and ask yourself, who am I choosing to be today? Because everything in your life is a choice. So when you start the day with a conscious choice of how you're going to show up, who you're going to be, what version are you going to be? I am going to be powerful. I am going to be capable. I am going to trust myself. So when you sit in that stillness and consciously choose who you're going to show up today, then you affirm that I am going to be confident. I am going to be powerful. I am going to be capable. I am going to trust myself. Okay. And you affirm this to yourself. And then as the day goes on, notice anytime self doubt arises throughout the day, pause. And if you can say it out loud, you just say, that's not who I am anymore. Right? And that might not be possible. You might be in an environment and work. If you can't say it out loud, say it to yourself or go somewhere where you have a bit of quiet and you can say it out loud. All right, just, affirm that's not who I am anymore. And then you ask, what would my higher self do right now? And then you take on the embodied action of your higher self. Okay, because this is going to take repetition, and you have to rehearse new belief with feelings. So feel the power of I am worthy, right? Anchor it in your body with your breath. How are you going to stand? Your posture, your presence. Because if you feel worthy, you're not going to be slunched over looking at your shoes. You're going to be standing upright, shoulders back, chest high, head held high. I am worthy. I am worthy. Okay, and rehearse these new beliefs with feelings and anchor it into the body. And then every single night, before you go to bed, have an evening reflection. Before bed, sit there again in stillness and just write one thing you did well. And if there's more than one thing, write more than one thing, right? And then also, what fear did you face that day? And one choice that you made that honored your truth. This is about consciously reprogramming your mind, your beliefs, and who you are. Over time, these practices retrain your subconscious mind to believe in your power, that you're worthy, that you're powerful, that you're capable, that you're strong. Okay, because I've been doing this for about 7 years now, right? And when I first began doing this work, things didn't change immediately. Right, but I can tell you what did start to change. I stopped identifying myself as an addict. I will never say that I am an addict or recovering addict or anything of that sort. I used to go to meetings and they say once an addict, always an addict. And I refuse, I do not believe that. I will never, ever, ever say I am an addict or I'm a recovering addict. And that's nothing against anyone who is. It's just that I don't identify as that at all. That was my old identity. So I stopped identifying as an addict. I stopped replaying my past as a negative. I see everything in my past and I'm grateful for it because that was all preparation for my life now and what's to come in the future. That was just a training ground. And I stopped needing to prove myself to anyone. I stopped caring what other people thought and I started creating from my genius. Okay, and this is difficult because if I spent my whole life not trusting myself, and then when I'm taking on this role of someone who trusts himself and listening to my intuition and listening to my heart saying to me, there is going to be resistance. But it's just understanding that I'm taking the action regardless of what the friction or the resistance inside is. And when you take the action, that will erase the doubt. Okay. And also, I started showing up differently. I started seeing my family differently. I spoke to myself. I spoke to other people differently. I made new choices from alignment, not from fear. Right. And as I said, this wasn't just an overnight process, but the shift started the moment I stopped trying to fix myself and started to build a new version of me. And if you would have seen me 8 years ago, overweight, face all puffy, bad skin, you know, I was approaching 40 now. I'm 46. I've got a six pack. I've got a body that I could only dream of having in my 20s. I've got a marriage which is on fire. My children and I's relationship is so connected. I'm doing what I love every single day. You know, that is a dream come true for me. And I am not special. I am not a guru. I am not anything different to anybody out there. I just stopped trying to pretend I was someone else and started being who I truly am and being unapologetically me. And I say fuck you to anyone who has anything negative to say about it. Because I still love you, but I'm not going to allow what you say about me to impact me. Because I am rooted in my truth. I am aligned with my higher self. And I am enough. And I don't have to prove that to anyone. Anyone. Okay, because it's about reclaiming your power. And I want you to ask yourself this. If there's nothing wrong with you, right? What if you're not broken? What if you just haven't found what works for you yet? Maybe you're disconnected from your power. You're disconnected from your genius. You're disconnected from the truth of who you are. Well, now it's time to reconnect there. Not by becoming someone new, but by remembering who you've always been. Your power is not something you earn, it's something you activate. And the first step is choose to stop believing the lies. Choose to rewire your identity. Choose to start showing up today, not tomorrow, today. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You don't need more evidence to believe in yourself. You just need to make a choice. You need to decide right now, today. Okay? And decide that you matter, your power matters, your truth matters. Your life is too valuable to keep living as a small version of yourself. Take one step, take one action, one choice today that honours your higher self. And if this message hits home, leave a comment below. What's one lie about yourself you're choosing to release today? And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and drop a wee like. It does go a long way. And if you're ready to truly reclaim your power and start living from your highest potential, then follow me on this journey Because I promise you one thing, I am only here to serve. I will give you everything that I could possibly give you, and I ask for nothing in return. Okay, I believe in you. I love you. Have a great time. It's time for you to start believing in yourself. I'll catch you on the next one. I've got a video here, and you can subscribe here. Take care. Bye-bye.